You bought a tomato plant for your balcony. It grew tall and leggy and gave you three sad tomatoes. The problem was not your thumb. It was the wrong variety in the wrong pot. Your balcony, patio, or sunny windowsill is all you need to grow a serious amount of food. These are 10 vegetables that do not just survive in containers. They produce real harvests, exact varieties, pot sizes, and the one mistake to avoid for each one. 10 container producers from a tomato that thrives in a 5-gallon bucket to greens you can cut in 30 days. For each one, the specific variety, the right pot, and the mistake that kills the harvest. There's also one plant on this list that most people overlook for containers. You will recognize it when we get there. If growing food on a small balcony is what you're working towards, subscribe and follow along, starting with the one vegetable that anchors every container garden. Start with tomato Tiny Tim, a dwarf cherry tomato bred specifically for a 5-gallon bucket. It stays under 18 inches. Determinate growth means it sets all its fruit in one window, then it is done. Give it 6 hours of direct sun. Keep the soil like a wrung-out sponge. Check it daily in summer heat. One well-cared-for plant can give you over 100 cherry tomatoes in a season. The mistake using a pot smaller than 5 gallons. The plant gets root-bound, drops its blossoms, and yields almost nothing. Start with the right container from day one. Now that your summer fruit is covered, let's get some fast greens you can eat in weeks. Lettuce black-seeded Simpson has shallow roots. A standard window box or a deep clamshell container works. It only needs 3 to 4 hours of sun. Perfect for an east-facing balcony. The key is consistent moisture. Let the soil dry out completely and it bolts, turns bitter and goes to seed. Check it every day in warm spells. Grow it in the partial shade of your tomato plant, and you get 2 harvests from the same footprint. Pepper Lunchbox gives you sweet, colorful mini peppers on a compact bush. No staking required, 6 to 8 hours of sun. Let the top inch of soil dry between waterings. A 3 to 5 gallon pot is enough. One plant produces dozens of peppers from midsummer right up to frost. The colors shift as they ripen. The warning, too much nitrogen fertilizer. You get a lush leafy plant with 0 fruit. Use a balanced fertilizer once flowers appear. Bean Provider grows in a self-contained mound. No trellis, no caging, ideal for a windy balcony. 5 to 6 hours of sun, water deeply when the top inch is dry. A 5-gallon bucket holds 2 or 3 plants comfortably. It fixes nitrogen so it enriches the soil as it grows. The mistake is planting too early in cold, wet conditions. Cold soil rots the seeds before they sprout. Wait until the soil is at least 60 degrees. Radish cherry bell is ready to pull in under 30 days. Ultra shallow roots fit a container just 4 to 6 inches deep. Sow it between your slower crops as a spacer plant. It tolerates partial shade and needs about 4 to 5 hours of sun. Keep the soil moist. Dry spells make the roots woody and overly spicy, thin seedlings to 2 inches apart, so roots have room. What is your balcony sun situation, full sun or working with more shade? That will shape what comes next. If you have tried one of these and it did not work, drop it in the comments. There's usually a fixable reason. Subscribe if you want more practical urban growing guides like this one. 5 more plants, and the last one might be the most useful of all. Spinach Space is bred specifically for bolt resistance. It handles cooler root zones and partial shade without giving up. A container at least 8 inches deep, 4 to 5 hours of sun. Keep the soil cool and consistently moist. It gives you a steady harvest of dark, nutritious leaves all through the cool season. The warning, plant it in summer heat and it will bolt regardless of variety. Sow in spring or start in late summer for a fall harvest. If you want something faster and with more bite, plant arugula in the same window. Arugula is ready to cut in 3 to 4 weeks. A 6-inch pot or shallow tray is all it needs. All the action is above the soil. Similar conditions to spinach, 4 to 5 hours of sun, consistent moisture. A railing planter is a perfect fit. Peppery flavor ready long before your other crops. Let a few plants flower and they will often self-seed. The mistake, sowing too thick seedlings crowd out, go leggy and bitter, thin them early and they bush out properly. For a plant that keeps going from spring all the way through the first hard frost, the next one has no equal. Swiss chard bright lights, red, yellow, and orange stems, ornamental enough to sit on a patio table, productive enough to anchor your meals. Give it a 5-gallon pot at least 10 inches deep, 5 or more hours of sun, and it handles watering variation better than most greens. Harvest outer leaves continuously. One planting runs from spring to late fall. The mistake, cutting the central crown. The plant stops producing the moment you do that. Always take from the outer edges only. That same shade tolerance leads us to a champion for the darkest corner of your balcony. Kale dwarf blue, curled, forms a tight, compact rosette. A 3-gallon pot is enough for one plant. No staking needed. It thrives on as little as 3 to 4 hours of sun. The colder the weather, the sweeter the leaves. A light frost does not hurt it. It improves the flavor. This plant can produce through late fall in most climates. The mistake is harvesting the whole plant at once. Take the outer leaves, leave the center intact, and it keeps producing for months. It's last on this list and probably the most efficient plant you can put on a balcony. Green onions. You cut them, they regrow, no replanting required. A 4-inch pot holds several starts. A recycled yogurt cup with drainage holes works fine. 3 to 4 hours of light and just enough water to keep the soil from drying out. That is genuinely all it takes. A permanent supply of fresh onion tops for your kitchen right on your windowsill or railing. One thing to watch: if a flower stalk appears, cut it off immediately. Once the plant goes to seed, regrowth stops. 10 vegetables, 10 containers. That is a full balcony garden. Which one are you starting with? That is your complete container garden lineup. From tiny Tim tomatoes to green onions you cut and regrow, a balcony is enough space for a real continuous harvest. If this helps you plan your season, give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who has been wondering what to grow in a small space. In the following video, we'll look at what fruits you can grow in container gardening. Subscribe and hit the bell, and tell me, what are you planting first?